joins us live. Eddie, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, gents. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Simon's with me, so too is Spencer. We were talking just a short time ago about Fury Usyk too, Eddie. I don't know about you. When we're asked out in the street or asked in this building or asked anywhere, who do you think is going to win it? 1 minute I think Fury, the next minute I think Usyk. Are you similarly asked all the time, who do you think is going to win this thing?
Yeah, I just did an interview. I think it's difficult for anybody to pick Tyson Fury to win the fight with a level head. I mean, I think it's going to be an incredibly close fight. I think the last one was as well. But I just think with what we saw from Usyk in the first fight, with his ability to digest information, and I think it's very difficult to pick against him. I want Fury to win. I think he's capable of winning. I think he's going to have to do something extraordinary, which we've seen him do before. But I think with a level head, it's very difficult to not pick Alexander Usyk in this fight. But I'm hoping that the big man can do something special. Can he do it at this stage of his career? Is he getting a little bit war-torn? I mean, I think both of them probably are. But what we saw, I thought the first fight would be a stinker. It was unbelievable.
Yes.
And I think we'll get another brilliant fight. I really do. I can only see it being a thriller.
Yeah, I agree.
Let me stop right there, okay? I do think that's a good and a fair prediction. I mean, it's kind of hard to go against the person that did it, especially based on it being by precision and game plan and focus and, you know, all the things that Usyk puts together. You know what I mean? He comes there with the ring with all of that intact. There's no shortcuts. There's no, hey, this happened out of the blue type stuff. No. This was, everything is already planned and it was meant to happen based on how it was prepared. Okay. And for Tyson and for Eddie Hearn did say, which I am glad he admitted, like, yeah, I think this is going to be a boring fight. I think it's going to be one of the most boring fights, two boxers boxing each other. And I think it was going to be trash. Basically, he was trashing that because he doesn't have a pony in the show. Because he doesn't have a pony in the show, he can and feel free to hate on this particular promotion because he has nothing to do with the promotion, right? But then again, of course, they all do it. Bob Arum and Oscar and then Eddie, and they all are guilty of it. Okay, so to be fair, that's what he did. Okay, he did trash the whole idea of how the fight was going to go, but he had to correct himself. So I'm glad that Eddie was man enough to do that. So let's move forward in this particular video.
It was unbelievable.
Yes.
And I think we'll get another brilliant fight. I really do. I can only see it being a thriller.
Yeah, I agree with you, Eddie, and I think that, you know, the last fight we thought it was all about the size and whether Tyson Fury could impose that size on Alexander Usyk, but he couldn't do that, could he? At the beginning of the contest, it was actually Usyk who led with the jab, took control of the ring and the space. And I'm also with you as you go, it's very difficult to pick against Usyk in this one because you go, can Fury roll back the years? Can he roll back the time? And we haven't seen anything to suggest that he can since those Wilder fights.
Yeah, I think that really Usyk deserves so much more credit for what he did in that first fight. Like, he walked down and backed up and beat up at times a guy who was, you know, approaching 20 stones, 6'8". Usyk is a very small heavyweight. I didn't think he was capable of doing that. The problem with Tyson Fury is when you say, what do you do differently in this fight? Okay, maybe you need to be more aggressive. You know, Spence, like when AJ lost to Usyk, he was like, the general consensus was, you weren't aggressive enough. You just got to stick it on him. You're the bigger man. You're this absolute rubbish. Like, that's actually going to play into the hands so much more of Alexander Usyk. He's a classic counterpuncher. He wants you to be aggressive. He wants you to fall in. He wants you to take chances. He wants you to make mistakes. But then Fury can't just box defensively like he did at times in the first fight here. He has to try and do something. He's got to try and switch something up. The problem is Usyk adapts to all styles. He adapts to all situations. And he's very, very difficult to beat in that respect. So what is he going to do? I have no idea. I don't know what the answer is. But he's going to have to find one. And
Eddie, here's the thing. And here's another question for you this lunchtime live in Talk Sport. Where does...
Okay, let me stop right there as well. Okay, I have to counter something that Eddie did say, and it made a lot of sense. You know, a lot of people gave Anthony Joshua stick for the 2 fights that he lost back to back with Usyk because it's like, oh man, you got to do more. You have to throw more punches. You have to be aggressive. And you know, a lot of times people thought that until, you know, oh, Usyk does want you to do certain things because he does have traps of his own that he sets you up. You know what I mean? Especially the left hook. You know, the left hook, he loves to slip under the left hook. Slip under the left hook and then come back with his own right hook and then a straight left and then a right and then another straight left. He does that at ease. He catches you at times when you think you got him, and then he's all the way over here ready to force an attack upon you. Okay, so yeah, it is easier said than done when people tell you, man, you just got to throw punches. That's not the point if someone knows how to defensively avoid the punches that you call yourself throwing, and you want people to throw more of them. Why? So he can dodge more or make you more tired. You have a gas tank for a reason. That gas tank is realistic. This is not fairy tale. You only have so much energy in a fight. Facts. Unless you're juicing. Then you have more for that time being. You know what I mean? But still, in a fair fight, you only have a certain capacity of firepower, of a fuel tank. Okay? If your gas tank goes out, what do you really got? Nothing. Then it's going to tell very easily. You can act so long not to look tired, but that's probably the hardest thing you ever had to do. A lot of people avoid punches and pretend that they're not hurt easier than it is to avoid the fact that you're tired. Okay? So when he did that to Tyson Fury, and he made Tyson Fury miss punches, then he fought Tyson Fury, you know, and he appeared a much bigger man or a much bigger puncher in there against Tyson Fury. People then started to respect Alexander Usyk and to respect and put some respect on his name. Okay, so let's move forward.
Eddie, here's the thing. And here's another question for you this lunchtime live in Talk Sport. Where does all of this leave your man, Anthony Joshua?
I mean, for us, obviously, you know, talking to His Excellency, and if Fury was to win, we have a chance to make Fury against AJ for the Unified World Heavyweight Championship, which will be the biggest fight in the sport. If he loses, we still have the chance to make AJ against Fury, maybe as a go on, boys, go to war for 2 fights and then maybe sail off into the sunset. Who knows? I mean, or Tyson Fury could lose and you might never see him again. So for us...
Well, I'll say this. In that regard, that's exactly how it could go. I mean, for one, you could have Tyson Fury fighting Anthony Joshua if he wins. But I don't think that will be the case. See, if Tyson beats Usyk, he'll just want to fight Usyk a third time. Tyson Fury, if you don't know anything about Tyson Fury, if one thing that you can bet on about Tyson is that Tyson, the Gypsy King, is a lover of trilogies. He did it with Wilder, he did it with Chisora, and he will do it with Usyk because Usyk beat him the first time. And if he beats Usyk the second time, you know, he will want a trilogy. He wouldn't want a damn fight with Anthony Joshua that got beat by Danny Dubois. He wouldn't want that because it will go back to the same narrative. I'm the best fighter in the world. Why the hell would I have to fight the bodybuilder? He got beat up by a young kid, right? Someone he ain't never fought yet, but it don't matter because it's all about perception. You see what I mean? The perception is, I ain't fought Dubois, therefore people think that I could beat Dubois, therefore I don't have to fight Dubois. Just like a lot of times people thought that he could beat Usyk, right? Therefore he didn't have to fight Usyk until he fought Usyk and lost to Usyk. So it would go back to that same narrative, and all of the Fury lovers and the Fury fanboys will come in, and they will come in to roost. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue. But let me stop right there. Something else I forgot. If he loses, they could do a farewell, fight in England. Like, hey, it would be more of the domestic thing. They both got beat by the same guy. You know what I'm saying? And it would be like, I guess Oscar De La Hoya and Trinidad, you know, because I mean, they both got beat by Bernard Hopkins, right? So, like something like that, you know, more like a retirement package for two of the best British fighters in the sport. But none of them were able to beat the current guy that beat them both, right? So, you know, it could be like that, you know what I mean? And to see who's better out of those two, you know, and then they can, you know, cut their losses and get out of the sport, you know, and then let younger fighters come up or come off the sport or attempt to take that throne or dethrone Alexander Usyk. All right. So, let's continue. What's going on here? Okay, here we go.
Tyson Fury could lose, and you might never see him again. So for us, you know, with the AJ hat on, there's only really two fights for him in boxing. One is a Daniel Dubois rematch, and one is a Tyson Fury fight. I don't think there's interest in us having like an interim fight or coming back against this guy in the top 15. Like, how many fights have we got left? Could be one, could be three, but it's that run.
So I was going to ask you that, Eddie. I mean, commercially speaking, just for your commercial prism, which is the better outcome? Is it Fury winning or is it Usyk winning?
Oh, I mean, for us, Fury winning, providing we can make the fight. I mean, I think if His Excellency wasn't involved and there was no relationship between me and Frank, even if Fury won, I couldn't sit here now and tell you we're going to make the fight. I have absolutely no doubt we will make that fight now. But because of the reasons of Riyadh season, I think the financial opportunities available to the fighters. If Fury wins, yeah, the AJ fight's there. I mean, there is an Usyk rubber match if it's a classic. Who knows? I don't think that would be the preferred option when the AJ fight is on the table.
That was a question. That was a question I was going to ask Eddie, actually, about the Usyk fight. Would you get the rubber match if Fury wins that one? Is there more appetite in that than seeing Joshua? Or you still think that Joshua...
I mean, look, we don't know, Spence, do we? Because the second fight could be the greatest fight of all time, and then everybody's clambering to see that one as well. But the one question I get, doesn't matter where I am, but particularly in the UK, is when are we seeing AJ against Fury? And sometimes, if that's a casual fan, I might say, well, AJ got beat by Dubois and Fury's fighting Usyk. He says, yeah, I don't care about that. When are they fighting each other? So it will always be there. And it will always be there if Fury loses. But if he can somehow win, and that fight can be for the Unified World Heavyweight Championship, that will tick so many boxes. And particularly for AJ personally, because the reality is, as dangerous as the Dubois rematch might be, you know what he's like. He wants it. And he knows that it comes with a World Heavyweight Championship.
Okay. Daniel Dubois rematch or a Tyson Fury fight. A lot of people would say a Tyson Fury fight. You know, Eddie's saying that, oh, there's only two other fights really left. You know, the Tyson Fury fight, you know, for the first time or the rematch. Now, here's the thing. Commercially, that word commercially, that's just market, that's promotions, that's the politics, you know, commercially. You know, I think, you know, it would be smarter for AJ to fight Fury. If he loses to Fury, at least he knows that, hey, well, I'm getting paid for it, you know, and if he beats Fury, though, here's the thing. If he beats Fury, he'll still be a 3-time world champion, you know, and a 3-time unified champion. You see what I mean? And by fighting in Tyson Fury, which would make more sense. If he fights Dubois, he could become a 3-time champion on the IBF end, but it would be a much harder fight because you got a younger, stronger, fresher, hungrier fighter in Dubois that knows I've already taxed that ass and I can do it again. And I hopefully do it faster and better the second time. So yeah, that's why they're waiting around to see what Tyson does. Now, does it come off a little desperate? Yeah, it does. But you know, the person that's forking the bill, they're in close proximity. So it could happen. Is it fair? Hell no, it ain't fair. What's fair is Anthony Joshua has to right his wrongs by fighting Dubois. If he never fought Dubois and he does fight Tyson Fury, let's say he beats Tyson Fury. Okay, well, bro, wouldn't you still want to take on the IBF champion, the guy that taxed your ass and knocked you out within 5 rounds? That's the real legitimacy of it. That's the reality of it. That's the true stripes of a diehard. The casuals have that mindset. Commercially, it makes sense for him to fight Tyson Fury. But morally, he should want to fight Danny Dubois at least to get that part or that portion of the heavyweight crown, because you're doing it all at the same time. You're redeeming yourself, and you're righting your wrong, and you're becoming a champion all at the same damn time if you can beat Danny Dubois. If you can't, you're finished. And they know that. So they're like, look, let's fight Tyson Fury. He's a bit more worn than Danny Dubois, more torn. You know what I mean? He's older. So you don't have Tyson Fury going in there and attacking Anthony Joshua like Danny Dubois. That's the reality of it. It will be an easier fight for AJ to set up and think about attacks going into a fight against Tyson Fury versus a young guy that has a jab like a damn right-hand cannon of Daniel Triple D Dubois, okay? But you guys tell me what you think of Eddie Hearn torn between the Tyson Fury fight, if he wins, or the Danny Dubois rematch. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunched.